the deal. In March, The Atlantic published an article claiming that babysitting is, quote, dead, saying for decades, sitting was both a job and a rite of passage, and now it feels more like a symbol of a bygone American era. Some kids are not, they say, independent enough to handle the gig like they used to be. Independence to today's kids has been the center of both the sleepover debate we had earlier and now babysitting. In the 80s, the rite of passage was immortalized in movies like Adventures in Babysitting and the Gen X favorite, The Babysitters Club book series. But now the experience of babysitting is not as relatable to today's teenagers. They're even pushing back against the parents and pushing back about how much they're getting paid. One teen babysitter subreddit received almost 3,000 replies after she shared an incident where she says she called the police because the parents did not come home for several hours after they said they would. Oh, gosh. Oh, boy, my babysitter's got to stop outing me like this. No, I'm kidding. We are here with mom of two, Kristina Behr, who says the days of hiring a 15-year-old to care for your child is long gone, and parenting journalist Donna Tetreault, who has been covering the story, joins us via Skype. Donna, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us from your home. Kristina's here as well. Kristina, I'll start with you. You've got a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Yep.
Babysitting is dead. That seems so harsh.
So I say it with an asterisk.
Okay.
Right? It's those days of when I was a kid, a teenager, going down the street and babysitting for my neighbors.
Right.
I feel like those days are kind of gone.
Why?
Unless you know them. It goes back to trust. See, in my neighborhood, we don't know each other like we used to. When I grew up, we knew everybody on the block. They came to our parties. They came to our weddings. We knew what they did for a living. We just grew up with this community
So you feel this is
sense.
a breakdown of community?
Yes, and also trust in our teens. Our teens are vastly different than we were teenagers. My parents, right?
Yeah.
My parents would leave the key under the doormat and be like, good luck, right?
We played the latchkey kid thing.
Right, and so we also grew up with a babysitter that my parents hired when she was 17. She became part of our family, and so there are pluses to it. But if I were to right now hire a babysitter, it would be my in-laws first or the grandparents first, and then maybe an educator. I'm gonna say my next statement, and I'm gonna preface it by saying I love my children. They're my lifeblood. they are the reason I breathe, right? But they are sometimes feral animals. And I am worried if I have a 15-year-old in my house that has no idea how to deal with them, they're gonna go running for the hills. I'm just like, sometimes I wanna go running for the hills.
That's an interesting point.
So I feel like the experience, the trust, that sort of stuff is not so much there as it used to be. Is it electronics? Is it just maturity? I don't know.
No, Donna, you say it's a cultural shift here.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we've got a different crop of parents these days. We've got parents who have evolved, they're in tune, and they're really learning about child development. They're looking at parent education, and they're wanting something more than just that physical security. They're looking for emotional security when their kids are away from them. And they want the people who are in charge of them to be able to problem solve in the home. Maybe siblings having an issue. How do we solve this? Allowing for emotions. And so it's one of these things where parents, you know, they're educating themselves and they want more for their kids. And so I think it's important to know that teens don't quite have that experience. They don't have that child development experience that somebody who
But
is
you would
older
think, Donna,
or,
they wouldn't. I mean, we're talking about a babysitter. I'm talking about someone, I'm gonna go to the movie. Can you keep an eye on the kid and keep all fingers and toes in place as best you can? That parents are looking for a wider range of emotional support seems to me as a big ask, and this perhaps is why babysitters, according to babysitter.com, care.com, excuse me, the babysitters are now charging around $21 an hour. I got $7 and they wrote me a check from my neighbors when I first babysat. $21, well, yeah, if you're asking me, Donna, to emotionally support and be there and do everything else, I'm just supposed to be watching the kid. I want $21 too.
Yeah, I know. And it's just part of this shift. Parents are wanting more. And I think that when you look at a teenager, you got to consider, I'm not trying to throw them all under the bus, but you've got to consider the distractions. They're on technology. So if you've got a pool in your home, one look at that phone and the child's in and you just don't know what's going on. It's a different world for these teens.
It really is. And Kristina, going to that point, it's a different world. You're thinking, I'm going to babysit for a few bucks, or am I going to go and make some money for other responsibilities that I might have?
100%. When I was 15, I babysat a couple times for the neighbors down the street, but I also got an internship in New York City. And then on the side, I was working at a restaurant, a pizzeria, so I could pay for the bus trip into the city so I could use that internship for a job after college. Also, college is expensive, as we know now. And so maybe some of these teens are getting jobs or they're doing extracurricular things so they get that financial aid package so they can pay less for college.
This just got depressing.
It's like there's so many factors.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Kristina.